Democratic governor of California might have thought about fucking going on Zoom instead of flying out to fucking Hawaii so that we could give Republicans talking points for the next 300 years about what hypocrites they are, which they are. Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck is wrong with them?
I bet Kimberly Guilfoyle is so happy she dumped that guy for the nice fella she has now.
God damn it.
Instead what of flying out to fucking Hawaii so that we could give her.
You mean President Newsom? He's going to be the next president, I think.
Not now.
Not now.
This killed him. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. The dinner for 12 in the enclosed $500 per person French restaurant in Napa Valley, that's going to help him too. While he's telling all the deplorables to distance themselves and not do Thanksgiving. Fuck you, Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom, just for appearances, just for not even doing appearances.
Yeah, because you know what? Appearances never hurt Democrats.
No, not for 1 minute.
They never do.
Did you hear the sad news? They're not going to be able to sell tickets for the Thanksgiving dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Trump and his family again. They're just going to eat like at the White House and stuff. It's so sad.
Right. Okay. Are you ready to rock here?
Yeah. Have you shared it yet? It's on there for you to share.
Maybe I don't want to share it today. No,
you need to share it. It's all good in the hood. Because I got wood. I don't know. We're doing good.
Hold on here. I missed my initial window. Now I have to go the slow way.
I see what you did there. You gotta do better.
I guess first we have to go through the whole NBA draft, right?
Well, the kid out of Georgia, I think it's just such a great story, Brad. I don't think you can. And Florida State with 2 lottery picks. I mean, come on, who would have thought that would have happened?
Isn't it just horrible that they had to do this on Zoom? I mean, they lost that.
Isn't it just horrible that I can't give a French fried pity fuck about any of it? Is that bad, or is that? I mean, is that wrong, or what is it? Is that a failure of me?
No,
by the way.
That's a shut up and dribble moment for you.
No, I'm just saying, how dumb are these people who run the NBA? Like, start the season on December 25th. That's when you start. That's the first day of the season. How hard is this?
No, they're starting it 2 days before.
Why?
Because they want to be up so that they can have that Christmas Day thing. That's not stupid.
No, do it. Start the season the day on December the 25th. That way, nobody has seen anybody. It's fresh. And I wonder how my Pelicans look this year. All that stuff. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. I'm sorry.
Really? So if
Christmas
they play
Day.
a game a day before, then that just ruins it.
It does. Okay. You start the season.
Well, I don't know why you're not commissioner of the NBA.
I know. Why do I have to come up with all the great ideas? Why do I have to come up with all the incredibly good ideas? I'm ready when you are.
Let me just see. Okay, that ought to be good enough. All right, it's in business there.
There we go.
Okay. It is the Brad and Brittcast early edition. We're live in the 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time hour, later for podcast fans and late streaming video folks later. Good morning, good day, good evening, good night. You know what I think has finally happened? I think we owe old Sarah Palin a little bit of an apology because her prediction of death panels has now come to pass. Now, not the way she thought it was going to.
12 years too late, yeah.
Right, which was, remember, it was Obamacare, big government takeover of healthcare, and they had this group of people in a room who were going to decide whether your mom or my mom were going to be denied care, and those were the death panels, and that was this Orwellian world of decisions by big. No, the death panels now are forced upon us by hospitals being overrun, and you've now seen crying physicians, crying nurses who have put up with 9 months of hell, being put in a position where they have to decide: do we leave this person out in the hallway and not treat them because they're beyond hope? We are the death panels, and I say it figuratively, not literally, but isn't it terrible
Well, it was great, but it was great to see
that.
it was great to see the leadership from Donald Trump talking to some of those people yesterday, as they were very.
That was a nice moment.
I'm sorry. That was the guy who's going to be president in January, not the guy who is president right now. The guy who is president right now continues to stuff his fat face and bitch about stuff. Joe Biden had a great Zoom meeting with people, and there were some emotional moments of people crying because things are just falling apart. They've been falling apart, and now it's worse than it's ever been for these people who have to treat this one woman who was a nurse in a very busy ER has not been tested since February for COVID-19. Since February. And Joe Biden was like, I cannot believe that. I can't believe that. And it's just, it's a remarkable story. You know, I have to interject here. I'm listening to the Barack Obama book because I am an Audible subscriber. You can subscribe to Audible through our store, which is shop.bradandbritt.com. By the way, great early Black Friday deals at shop.bradandbritt.com. So I'm listening to the Obama book. And he's talking about his inauguration. He said, well, there was some criticism that my inauguration speech was a little dark.
Was that a racially tinged description of his speech, or a tonal description of
a tonal description?
Yes, which of course the joke there is that it did not compare to the American Carnage speech.
Exactly.
8 years later.
The blood running through the gutters of America.
Yes, even I get that joke.
I thought that he really does say that. He goes, yeah, there was some criticism that the speech was a little dark. And he goes on to say it's a fascinating account. And just the account of him talking about Joe Biden and stuff. I've heard some people criticize the book itself, at least part one of this memoir, as being, you can skip it. I saw a guy from the Chicago Tribune, which you may or may not have thought would have been friendly to Obama, say, it's okay. You wouldn't. It's an okay story, but I just think that with Obama, he set such a high bar.
Okay. How does it end?
I think it ends with Bin Laden dying. I don't. But I found it to be very interesting, and I think it's worth your time. I don't know if it's something. I know it's one of those things where you're seeing him on every show that you watch now, right? Some interview or some iteration of something on all the shows that you watch.
And by the way, I bring this up every couple years when a famous person writes a book and they're on every show.
Yeah.
And every network describes the upcoming interview as exclusive. An exclusive interview with really
how
exclusive of what? And I mean, it's just embarrassing.
I don't know what it is.
The hyperbolic bullshit.
Yeah.
That his first live cable interview on a channel north of 214 on local cable systems. It's an exclusive. Stop it. Just stop it. We're not that stupid. We're not that stupid. We see him on every channel. Everybody has him. Everybody has him.
That's so funny.
That's just a.
Hillary Clinton tried to turn him down. Hillary Clinton tried to turn him down twice for the Secretary of State gig. He did. She was like, "Nah, I don't want to do it," and he finally talked her into it. So it's very. There's some interesting little details and stuff in there.
Well, I guess I'll get it. I'm deep into the Michael Cohen book now.
Okay. All right.
And as much of a sleaze as Michael Cohen is, he's open and honest, and very close to the beginning, he admits that he went to the shittiest law school in America, the Thomas Cooley Law School at Western Michigan, and he admits that he chose that school because he knew it would be the easiest one, and he said, look, when you graduate first in your class at Harvard or last in your class at Thomas Cooley Law School in Michigan, Western Michigan, what do they call you? Counselor.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So he made that calculation. I mean, okay, all right. So, but he's open about it. All right. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to hide it and say, well, people that say I went to the worst law school, that's not, he's very open. He admits it all. And I'm 100 pages into it. And my summation of it so far is that he places himself, not explicitly, I'm doing this. He places himself in the position of every person in this country that fell for the bullshit, fell for the image, fell for the aspirational quality of looking up at Donald Trump and being what a rich person really can be like, looking at Donald Trump and saying, this guy can get away with anything, and he can act like a mob boss, and he can intimidate people, and he can not pay his bills. And I'll be his enforcer. I will be the one who will set up the meetings where I make someone practically shit in their pants with fear over what Donald Trump will do to their business and their life and their family if they don't listen and do what he says to them. If he says, close your business down, it's making me look bad, I'll make sure it happens. And that's been an attractive thing for a lot of people. They're still with it. Michael Cohen, obviously off the bandwagon now for several years. And the frustrating thing for those of us on the outside of the Trump cult looking in is the eternal question of what is it going to take? And I was thinking, and I don't think we can get him to come on with us, but I'll pick the most prominent Trump critic who, if you dig back into the past, did some horrendous sucking up during the 2016 campaign.
Who's that?
It's a guy whose name is Joe Scarborough. All right. He and his wife Mika, they had Trump on the phone, and live.
Right. It was so cute. It was so
just
cute.
like the rest of them. All right.
Oh yeah, he did.
And even if they asked him a few tough questions, they went on and on and on and on. And if I could talk to Joe, I would ask him, all right, what was the tipping point? What was the line that was crossed where you became one of the most articulate and brilliant critics of Donald Trump? And he has been that way for more than 4 years now. Because I don't know what that timeline was. I don't know whether it was the John McCain. I don't like people who aren't sure. I don't know what moment
when he said that, when Trump was talking about Mika bleeding at the Mar-a-Lago, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I think it was before that.
Because he was already. They were already split at that point in time. Yeah.
But my point here is that Joe Scarborough is nothing more than an old dumb country lawyer. He likes to portray himself as that.
That's cute, but yeah,
I think he went to the University of Alabama law school, but he's not dumb. And he's not no dumb country lawyer, but he isn't that much smarter than 70 plus million people who are still on the Trump train and voted for him a couple of weeks ago. And I'm interested to know, what is the difference? This now ingrained, innate, immutable belief in Donald Trump that has us to the point where we're less than 2 months away from a possible collapse of the democratic system if Donald Trump chains himself to that resolute desk and refuses to leave. And you've actually been more on the he's not going to leave side than I have. And now I'm starting to worry, and I'm starting to worry.
Why? Why are you more worried now, perhaps, than you were yesterday or 2 days ago?
I'm more worried now because I think that their game plan is, knowing full well, and Trump knows that Rudy Giuliani is a shitty lawyer. Trump knows that he doesn't have any members of blue chip firms or smart people like Don McGahn, right, or John Dowd. Now, all those people left the plantation a couple years ago. They're all gone. He's got nobody left. He doesn't even have Michael Cohen from the Thomas Cooley School of Law to run interference. He's down to Rudy Giuliani, a guy who had not appeared in court for 28 years until this past week, when he made a complete ass of himself by literally looking like Grandpa Simpson, a man yelling at clouds, and not knowing where he was, not knowing who he was addressing, and not knowing the subject matter. So Trump knows that. And it looks like the end game is, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago, that they were looking for one corrupt judge.
Yeah.
Because as you know, Trump is in court. He's 0-28 or something, right? Has he gotten one really favorable
They're
ruling?
counting one victory in that one state, and I can't remember. Was it Nevada where they had
Pennsylvania? I think Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's the one thing they're counting, which wasn't really their win, and it doesn't change anything. But yeah, it's like 1 in 28 or something.
Right. So he's not winning in court, but he's winning in the court of public confusion, because the polling is unmistakable that the repetition of the big lie, which really helped all the Republicans down ballot hang in there and actually gain some seats and win state houses across the country, increase their numbers in North Carolina a little bit, the majority that they have. Even if people differentiated between Donald Trump and Trumpism, they voted for Trumpism down ballot in many, many places. And if the goal is to sow confusion and have people throw their hands up in the air and say, well, I just don't know what really happened. That's what he's trying to do. And he's trying to run that clock out. I don't know. And I guess we should have confidence that come the middle of December, when the Electoral College meets, that even if they can get 1 or 2 electors or even one state to go completely corrupt.
That's what they're trying.
And the way you saw in Michigan the other day, where apparently the two people, the man and the woman in Wayne County, who voted not to certify, then 3 hours later caved. Now they're saying they want to take back the fact that they caved, but it's take back their take back, but it's too late. It's now certified. It's over. They're moving on. Of course, that will be taken as, see, that's a corrupt system, because they won't let people finally, right?
Yeah, so you never stop lying. You keep on lying.
Right. George Soros told them to take back their but the point here is that if you can throw enough sand into the gears of the system, who knows? Because the goal is to get it into the House of Representatives.
Let me ease your mind.
Where Trump would win.
Allow me to ease your mind a little bit. At January 20th at noon, the military will be handing the football to Joe Biden and his team. That's going to be happening. I'm 100% sure that that's going to be happening. I would put any amount of money. I would bet my house. I would bet my car. I will bet anything I got that on January the 20th at noon, that football is going to Joe Biden and his team. So it seems bleak right now. It seems like the lies are getting some sort of traction, but that's the bottom line on this. The military will not support Donald Trump. This is not going to be a full banana republic, as much as Rudolph Giuliani and Donald Trump are trying to. And you mentioned Joe Scarborough, and you mentioned Michael Cohen. I give anybody credit, whether it's Scaramucci or whether it's anybody who has told the truth about this guy, and they said, hey, mea culpa, I was wrong. I should not have supported him and done all the stuff that I did for him for all these years. I give those people complete credit for saying that they were
right. Yeah. There is no profit in saying, well, since you were wrong 5 years ago or 4 years ago or even 3 years ago, we do not accept your conversion, because
even that tool Joe Walsh up in Illinois, who has turned on Trump, I'm 100% for him.
That right, because it's been a defining characteristic of Trumpism that the further down the rat hole you go, the further down the rat hole you go.
Exactly.
And the more you are resistant to little ninnies like us saying, you know better, why are you still this way? And of course, in the end, it's about because it pisses you off.
Right.
It owns the libs. Whatever cliche you want.
Destroying America to own the libs. That's essentially what they're trying to do right now. Destroying democracy to own the libs. This is the Washington Post story. President Trump has abandoned his plan to win re-election by disqualifying enough ballots to reverse Joe Biden's wins in key battleground states, pivoting instead to a goal that appears equally unattainable, delaying a final count long enough to cast doubts on Biden's decisive victory. On Wednesday, Trump's campaign wired $3 million to election officials in Wisconsin to start a recount in the state's 2 largest counties. His personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who has taken over the president's legal team, asked a federal judge to consider ordering the Republican-controlled legislature in Pennsylvania to select the state's electors, Brad. This goes against the state laws in Pennsylvania, which dictate that the electors who go to the Electoral College must follow the public vote and the will of the people. And Trump has egged on a group of GOP lawmakers in Michigan who are pushing for an audit of the vote there before it is certified. So we have different strategies for different states and trying to fuck up democracy and trying to keep him in office. That's what he's trying to do right now.
Well, the question and the reason that, and I'll switch over to your side here for a moment, that I feel that no matter how much confusion and brilliance this legal team, what is it? Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, that total loser. And by the way, did you see they dug up a bunch of clips of her from 5 years ago saying Trump is the biggest piece of shit since your German Shepherd dropped a big one in the middle of the street last week.
That's exactly right.
You know, but that's all forgivable because Donald Trump's transactional. If you're for him now, he likes you. I know.
That's it. That's all that matters.
The reason I think that the Supreme Court will not get involved is exactly what you just said, that they're not going to jump in on these cases, because the very quick question that I think answers itself is, why is it that the vote count, that the vote is tainted, that everything is open to question or open to revision, only occurs for you, Mr. Trump, in states where you are behind? Are you saying that the count was perfect in states where you are ahead? Are you saying that in states where you lost by 20 or 80,000 votes, or in the case of Michigan, was it 120,000 votes?
Yeah.
But Republicans did well down ballot, that people picked out these ballots and made changes? Can you prove that happened? They let the Republicans down ballot win, but they screwed you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain that? Because if I was a secret Democratic fairy that could float in and change ballots, I wouldn't just change the president, right? I would change the vote for Senate. I wouldn't let Gary Peters get reelected in Michigan either.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
And his race was a lot closer than Trump's race, correct? Mm-hmm. He won re-election. That was a nail biter, right? They didn't know that for a few days.
That's correct.
So objectively, there's nothing there. But this isn't about objective facts.
Clearly
this is about Trump flooding the zone with bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been flooding the zone with bullshit for 5+ years now, and it has worked on a lot of people. I think it's the Reuters Ipsos poll that came out on Wednesday that shows a massive majority of Republicans do not think that the vote was on the up and up. And they may think that Joe Biden won the election, but they're not sure if it was legit or fair. Well, that's all Donald Trump tweeting out, and we laugh at his all caps I won the election tweets. We laugh at them, and they are laughable, but it's worked. It's worked on his people. It's worked on his cult. It has convinced them. And when they back that up with a closed media universe of self-reinforcing demagogues, from Hannity to Carlson to Levin to the people who are even crazier than they are on those other networks, Newsmax, One America, and Breitbart websites, and it's a seductive thing, and it's easy to buy in because your guy lost. And then when they lie and say, well, you didn't accept Donald Trump for 4 years as a legitimate
whatever.
Okay, that is one of the biggest lies ever. Okay,
where do they get that shit?
You can go back. Remember, I posted a couple weeks ago a thing that I put up on November 9th, the day after the election, where I said, I do not question the fact that Donald Trump was actually elected. However, blah, blah, on and on and on and on I went.
Exactly.
And it was immediately said by 99% of us that we don't think that the Russians got into voting machines and changed votes so that Donald Trump would. That was never the question.
That's
the
right.
question was they invaded social media. They took over Facebook. They had the Internet Research Agency over there in St. Petersburg in that building. And we know what the building is. You've seen video. You've seen pictures of it a million times. There is a building with people in it who created all these fake websites and fake posts and fake tweets that supported Donald Trump and swayed public opinion. And Facebook themselves, they've admitted it. They're not denying that happened. That's the quote unquote, we didn't accept Donald Trump as a legitimate president. We didn't accept the brainwashing of stupid people in this country as a legitimate way to become president. And guess what? Trump stumbled into hiring a guy who really knew what he was doing and fixed that problem.
Yeah, we did.
And Trump shouldn't complain. Hey, you got 10 million more votes this time. You really roused the crowd. You should celebrate the fact that Britt, you were wrong. Brad, you were wrong. And a lot of people were wrong that those rallies the last 2 months wouldn't make a difference. They did make a difference. Yes, they spread coronavirus, but, well, that's a hoax. But it did motivate probably people to come out of the woodwork out in rural areas to support Donald Trump in a lot of these down ballot races, even if it didn't translate into an electoral win for him at the national level. But he can't celebrate that. He couldn't possibly say, I didn't win, but doggone it, the principles of the Republican Party and that I've stood for and you've stood for, they've held up, and we have the and we have state houses, and we have the basis for a great, great future. That's not him. That's some mythical Jimmy Stewart character. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's never going to happen. So we're left here with 2 months. Are we down to like 60 days?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah,
today's the 19th.
Today's the 19th. Yeah, 61 days, and the fact that we're nervous and sweating this out at any level is terrible. And we can have all the confidence in the world that the center will hold, the system will work, the electors will be selected correctly as they always have been, with very few exceptions in U.S. history. And that this time isn't going to be different. But as the supporters of him like to say, he's a different kind of president. He's a different kind of demagogue. He's a different kind of autocrat, one that we never have seen, and one that the founding fathers thought would not come along, and thought that they had put enough safeguards in place so that we wouldn't be under the tutelage of King George again.
Right.
Like we had just escaped in those previous decades and centuries.
I got a funny one. King Gorge, because he's fat. You get it? He's fat.
You know what? That works.
Here's I have a movie. Works. I got a movie coming out called The Fatness of King Gorge. Yeah. How's that, huh?
Well, no. How about make it a 3-word Fire King Gorge? Because remember, we can only get up to 3 words. Anything after 3 words, too complex.
Important news conference today by lawyers on a very clear and viable path to victory. Pieces are very nicely falling into place. RNC at noon. So by the time that some of you listen to this, it's going to be over. They will have the press conference. Apparently, Rudolph Giuliani will spout out his incredible strategy. There is a little bit. There's a tiny piece of me.
Will Joe Biden have conceded by 3:00 today?
By far. There's a little piece of me that finds it very funny that Brian Kemp, this asshole governor of Georgia, is getting shit from the Trump team and from Republicans. I do find that to be quite humorous, that they're giving that, because that guy's a number one asshole. He really is.
I understand that. But you can be the biggest asshole on the Trump team, but it's what have you done for me in the last hour that matters.
That's correct.
Right? It's Trump worried about winning the next news cycle, the next headline, the next soundbite, and that applies in reverse. If you've done anything in the last hour that does not please me or hasn't gone along with my plan, then everything you've done in the previous 5 years that I've known you doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's not matter. It doesn't matter that you cheated your ass off to beat that woman, Stacey Abrams, 2 years ago to help maintain the gerrymandered racist history of Georgia as we've known it. I mean, is Georgia the worst state for voter suppression of them all? Is it worse than Mississippi and Alabama and those places?
I think Stacey Abrams would tell you it is. I think Stacey Abrams would say that because she should be the governor of that state right now. And thankfully that she, was able to keep on fighting and keep some of that bitterness behind her and is a big reason we're having a runoff in just a little bit. And by God, we need to hit the ground running on that thing because those 2 Senate seats are vitally important to America's future. But yeah, I would say Stacey Abrams would probably tell you that they're terrible on voter suppression. Speaking of which, the Senate Ethics Committee has been asked to investigate allegations that Lindsey Graham, the South Carolina senator, pressured an official in Georgia to disqualify thousands of legal ballots, Brad. There is a Senate Ethics Committee, and they are going to investigate Lindsey Graham on this. I don't know exactly what they're going to come up with.
Let's see. Let's try to figure this out. The Senate Ethics Committee. Who controls the Senate right now, Britt?
Well, as of right, again, and that's why those 2 Senate seats are kind of a big deal.
But it's a fake. They're not going to find. They're not going to find that Lindsey Graham did anything wrong while the Republicans are in control of it.
It doesn't have to be investigated between now and January the 20th because it can be reopened after January the 20th once Warnock and Ossoff win these seats and the Democrats are in control of the Senate. So it's not over. You don't just throw up your hands and go, well, he did it, too bad. No, it's not just because Mitch McConnell's a piece of shit. He might be a piece of shit in the minority coming up at the end of January.
Britt.
3 ethics experts, including a former Bush administration official, asked the 6-person committee to look into what Graham asked Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger about vote counting if that broke chamber rules. And Raffensperger, of course, this week said that Graham directly asked whether he could throw out certain mail-in votes. There you go. I'm just asking the question. That's all I'm doing is asking you the question.
And I think that the Senate Ethics Committee, led by the principled Republicans who have kept Donald Trump in check for all these years, are perfectly capable of, ready, 1, 2, 3, conducting about a 3-day investigation and finding that while we're not comfortable, that we're concerned about what Senator Graham did, it does not rise to the level of an ethics violation and case closed. So
these are the members.
That's what's going to happen.
These are the members of the Senate Ethics Committee: James Lankford of Oklahoma,
Oh,
Pat Roberts, who is the chairman of Kansas,
total.
James Rich of Idaho. The minority members, the minority members are Chris Coons, Vice Chairman Brian Schatz, and Gene Shaheen. That's your Senate Ethics Committee. Well, it could change certainly again after January. In January, it could change.
But
if we hit the ground running and win these seats, because again, you can reopen this investigation. Because how many times was Benghazi reopened? How many times was Hunter Biden reopened? How many times was the Steele dossier reopened? You can reopen these investigations. It can happen many, many times. Don't give up on this, Brad. Just because Mitch McConnell's a piece of shit doesn't mean he gets away with everything forever. Eventually, the rain falls on the wicked and the just.
Did you write that yourself?
I did. I wrote it from the second best-selling book of all time. Thousands of uncounted votes discovered in Georgia counties. When the much more important signature match takes place, the state will flip Republican and very quickly get it done, he tweets to @Brian Kemp of Georgia. That's Donald Trump putting pressure on Brian Kemp, the governor of the great state of Georgia.
Okay, so this is the public, open, in your face corruption that Trump has challenged the system to try to rein him in on all these years, and it has not. He has gotten away with everything.
Pretty much.
And so why, with 60 days to go, would he change his tactic? I'm putting it out there. I'm a liar. I'm corrupt.
Yeah.
I'm trying to destroy the election system. I'm trying destroy Americans' confidence in the election system so that people throw their hands up in the air and say, well, you know what? Just let him stay there. We just can't be sure that Joe Biden, we're not, we think, but we're not sure enough. And since we're not sure enough, well, then that's what he's trying to do. That's the game that he's playing. It's sick. It's beyond, and remember what it's in service of. You said this yesterday, protecting not only himself, but his family.
Yeah.
And people of that sort from being prosecuted instantly.
Yeah.
On January 21st by most notably the state of New York, because I think we can assume he's going to give some kind of preemptive pardon to everyone, including Barron. And maybe baby Barron Trump has done something that he needs protection from. In fact, maybe Trump wants to give him a pardon now that protects him from future acts, because it's almost inevitable, right, that Barron Trump is going to grow up to be this nightmarish.
Oh, that's that's terrible. Maybe he can pull himself out of it.
Yes, here we go. You're not allowed to talk about the presidential. Fuck that. Are you kidding? He's the demon seed. Well, he's the bad seed.
He's 6'9". He's like he could take me. So I think we could talk about. I'm surprised.
I'm sorry. This is the old baby Hitler argument again. Shouldn't baby Hitler have been killed? Yes, baby Hitler should have been killed.
I just looked it up and I can't believe the guy's 14. The kid looks 18 years old when you see him like walking. I swear to God, he looks like a center for Pepperdine or some shit. When I see him walking next to his dad, I can't believe that the kid's only 14 years old.
So he's about 30 years younger than Don Jr., the oldest kid. Isn't Don Jr. about 43, 44, something like that?
I think that's right. Yeah. I think
that's So this crap will extend long beyond your lifetime and mine.
Well, I know, and then
way beyond it.
See, my thing is the Republican Party needs to pay a severe penalty for turning a party over to Donald Trump and not even making it. There is no Republican Party. It's just
there is no penalty right now. There is no penalty, and there's no perceptible penalty.
I see people like Marco Rubio going down to Georgia, and I'm like, dude, why are you doing this? I mean, I guess he's trying to stick up for the fact that if they win these seats and the Republicans are going to keep control of the Senate or whatever. But I'm like, dude, you're not going to have any viable chance to run for president. There will be no chance for you because all people are going to be talking about is what asshole baby does over the next 4 years on his Twitter account. There's going to be no viable, like your Ted Cruz's or whoever you think is going to be running, Chris Christie or whoever might run for president in 2024. No, that's not going to be any kind of story at all. Those guys will not, that won't even be discussed. It's whether Donald Trump is going to run again. And vindicate himself because he never lost this election, right? That's going to be their story. He never lost the 2020 election, and he needs to come back and he needs to vindicate himself. Right. And by the way, that's a wrestling storyline. Right. That is completely 100% a wrestling storyline.
By the way, I just read a great piece. I think it's in USA Today yesterday about the Undertaker.
Yes.
It's his 30th.
3-0.
It's his 30th year doing that gig. And I guess the guy has now come out and revealed really what he's all about. He appears to be a fairly normal,
he is
sort of well-adjusted person, which that's no fun.
No, who wants that?
Right. We don't need that. But you're right. This is part of what we've been talking about here. Sow confusion, get people to throw their hands up in the air. And even if at worst for Trump that he's not president on January 20th at 1 p.m, and he really is out, he has built the WWE storyline of the comeback, the redemption, the rejection, the pull himself up by the Ivanka Trump overpriced shoe bootstraps.
Exactly.
Whatever you want to, and so he can spend the next 4 years setting up some kind of cage match. Now there are a lot of barriers in between now and 2024. I think for Donald Trump that we can honestly say make it not likely that he will be the candidate in 2024, including
jail.
Well, it doesn't have to be jail.
Well, I would like for it to be jail.
I understand that being put on trial for tax fraud wouldn't move one vote away from him. I get that.
Thank you for that.
I'm not questioning that, because every bit of prosecution of Donald Trump just adds to the victimhood and grievance pile over there for his fans and his cult. Because remember that line in between what law and order is and what law and order really is. Remember, law and order, when Donald Trump talks about it at a rally, is arresting black people and arresting people who are with Antifa or sympathetic to liberal causes. That's law and order. Law and order is making sure you crack down by sending in military force into cities against people who are protesting, peaceful or not. That's law and order. Law and order is making sure that Donald Trump gets reelected to protect you. By the way, have you erected your electrical fence and your moat because of the invasion of all people into your suburban housing development? I know I have, because he said he was.
What kind of people are we talking about? Are we talking about black people? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Weird thing about my
then there's the law and order having to do with following the rules of paying people, being honest with people, not ripping them off, not stealing from them, not doing fake charities, not committing tax fraud, as Donald Trump would like to say, at a level that nobody thought was possible, because he appears to be the biggest tax cheat in American history.
Seems
right?
Like it. Al Capone was a biker.
Al Capone said, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding?" No,
Al Capone had nothing on this guy.
Right. So remember, there's white law and order and there's black law and order.
I was going to tell you that in my suburban enclave, I've had black neighbors for like 13 years. So I don't know. They've already invaded. I was the invader. They were here before me. I was the guy that invaded their suburban space.
Oh, believe me, don't think they don't know that.
they're well. By the way,
believe me, when you moved in, they said, "There goes the neighborhood."
Oh, that's it. It's over now.
Yeah.
Donald Trump Jr. is in fact 42 years old. You were wondering how old Donald Trump Jr. is. He's 28 years older than his brother Barron. Let's talk some more about the coronavirus now. The president is trying to take complete credit for all of the vaccines that have been coming forth with Pfizer and Moderna and all of that stuff. And I guess Fauci has made the incredibly ridiculous to some people's statement that, when we get the vaccine, you're going to still have to wear the masks, right? Some people are complaining that Fauci is saying that when we get the vaccine,
by the way, he's the only one that said that.
It's amazing.
Everyone else is saying now that a vaccine has been shown to be effective, no need to wear masks. He's the only one that said that. I want to tell you again, this is like not a discussable thing.
No, but people are stupid. People are willfully stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if they were smart, they want to be stupid just to protect Donald Trump. It's like, I know better, but I have to dumb myself down by about 100 IQ points in order to defend this idiot.
Which is stupider? People thinking that because a vaccine, which is months away from being dispensed to people like us, we're not even close, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of us may be closer than the other. I'm just going to tell you.
Well, I don't, I've got the age thing.
I've got the first responder thing. So I think I may have you on that.
Well, you need to be a plus 65 first responder. That's what you need.
Which is funny because, as you know, 911 dispatchers, you may not know this. Department of Labor, our job is clerical. That is the category they put us into.
Well, you know what? That might disadvantage where you think you are.
This is the
you're not like a doctor.
There is a bill on some fat fuck's desk that would make us first responders, but he hasn't gotten around to signing it for whatever reason. And it can't seem to be. It's been passed by both houses. In all of these relief packages, it can never be put in there. But this is the funny thing that I've been telling people. For these purposes, they'll say we're first responders. They won't pay us like first responders. They won't give us the benefits of first responders. But yes, you must go ahead and directly take this vaccine. So I believe that is what that is setting up to do.
So which is dumber? I don't have to wear a mask now because they found a vaccine, or I need to get more toilet paper again and clear off the shelves at the store. Pick one. Which one is stupider?
What's going on with the toilet paper? What's going on with the toilet paper?
Well, I don't. I've been in a store for a couple of days. I didn't notice any kind of shortage the last time I was in the Harris Teeter 4 days ago. I mean, the shelf was just packed with it. But in some states around the country, and I think this is in the states that just discovered coronavirus, your Dakotas, your Missouris, places like that, they're in full panic mode. And and I think even in California again, they're clearing off some of the shelves. And again, you see an anecdotal picture from a store doesn't mean that it's as widespread as it was the last time. But the fact that there's any of it, who has already gone through their first stash? I mean, people bought years worth of it last time. You would think they still had it. It's only been 5 or 6 months since the first attempt to clear off the shelves.
It's weird.
So didn't you learn from the last time that you were going to be able to get more toilet paper? You just might not be able to get it today.
No,
you might have to wait a week or two or more. And I can't believe that many people live roll to roll. Is that a way to term it? They buy 2 at a time.
It's like from living from paycheck to paycheck. It's
it's roll to roll.
Can you have a guy out on the streets like selling the loose cigarettes? He's going to be in the corner and get you. I got like one. Have it over there for you. I don't. I'm a single person. You've criticized me for a number of years because I use the Tushy wipes, the wet kind of Tushy wipes. So I don't use a lot of toilet paper, but I have a visitor over to my house and she requires toilet paper. So I've got toilet paper on hand, and now I'm getting a little antsy. I'm getting a little antsy that the next time I take a trip and I have to replenish the stock, that, Ma and Pa Kettle have gotten 5,000 rolls of this shit because the fiber in their diet's amazing. I don't know what's going on, but let me
just say something. If you run out, I'm here for you. I am here for you.
Everybody, you heard that, right? Everybody, you're witnessing this.
Well, it's funny because about maybe 3 weeks ago, I bought one of the 30 roll things at Costco. It's the best deal in toilet paper. It's really good. It's like $15 for a gigantic thing of it. So I have probably more than I need right now, but I didn't buy it under the hoarding idea. I just bought it under the whenever I'm at Costco, if the cart is empty below, I go, well, I may as well just buy it now.
Yeah, while you're there, sure.
That's what I do. I don't. But if you're getting into a sweat, none of your black neighbors will answer their door when you come to their door to lend you a roll of toilet paper.
I'm getting pulled over in this neighborhood a lot for taillights.
Because here comes Whitey looking for the Charmin.
And I got to tell you, also in the neighborhood, I'm having a real trouble finding hair care products. This is a breaking news from the Washington Post. Michigan county official who wants to rescind her vote to certify election says she received a call from Donald John Trump.
Well, yeah. See, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about.
Jesus.
We've been on this for a few weeks. It's my original philosophy. He's looking to corrupt the system from top to bottom. He tried it from the top. He tried it using the court system, the federal court system, the upper levels of state court systems, and they appear so far to be fairly incorruptible. So eventually, if you get down low enough, and there are hundreds, thousands of Republican officials who are on election boards and counting boards and things of that sort, you can find somebody who's so far in the tank who, and I believe in the case of the woman of the 2 in Wayne County, they went back a couple weeks ago, and she's got crazy shit on Facebook, conspiracy theory shit on Facebook. So of course, Donald Trump's going to pick up the phone and call. Of course he is. Would we expect anything less.
I would not.
And again, they're not going to tag Lindsey Graham with anything. And if you think that Donald Trump is, quote, in trouble because he did that, you have to be on Mars, okay? Because right? Because he's allowed to call anyone he wants. He's within his rights.
Is there a law?
What law says he's not allowed to call up and inquire? He wasn't trying to pressure her. He didn't say it'd be a shame if something happened to your dog, Fido. He didn't say anything of the sort.
There's an actual law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that says the electors have to go along with the will of the people. So, yeah, we don't care about that law. We're not going to follow the letter of that law. Rudolph Giuliani's going to try to talk their way out of it. But this law, there's no law saying he can't call people. I bet they just chatted about their favorite brand of Cheetos. Do you like the Puffs? Do you like the flaming ones? That's probably what they just talked about, don't you think?
No, see, that's not true. They're actually talking about, isn't it great that through all this, the Lions are still going to play on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit.
And you know who to thank for that. It's because of me.
And by the way, has Trump called for a boycott of Macy's, attacking Macy's because they've downsized the Thanksgiving Day parade? Because they're part of the war on Thanksgiving to ruin it.
They clearly are.
Because instead of it going, all that length, a mile or two, they're just going to go like one block and make it very small and not have a big crowd out there.
So sad. Why does Nancy Pelosi hate Woody Woodpecker so much? I don't understand.
Yeah. So,
all right, that's it for us.
Right, we've done enough damage for this week. We'll do another one of these on Monday or sooner if he resigns.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That is a vow. We will.